So we saw this Universal Studios picture from 1944, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Not exactly.
No?
Close.
There's some real similarities.
There is. It's called Black Friday. Directed by Arthur Lubin, written by Karl Siodmak, and stars Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, and the great and well-known Stanley Ridges.
It's a prequel to Friday the 13th. Okay, no, not that either? Okay,
No.
It takes place on Friday the 13th. Well,
Part of it takes place on Friday.
Part of it takes place, yeah.
Well, first of all, this is a very misleading movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
Second billing, Bela Lugosi, who's get 3-4 minute screen time tops.
But, yeah, second billing. Yeah.
Top billing, Boris Karloff,
but the name,
who is easily the number 2 character here.
Yeah. Stanley Ridges got third billing, and he was really the phenomenal actor in this one.
Yeah, he clearly was the main guy.
Playing 2 roles. Yeah.
We start out at the state penitentiary where Dr. Ernst Sovac, who sounds very much like a Bond villain, played by Boris Karloff, is awaiting execution in the electric chair. He hands one of the reporters his notes of what really happened.
You were the only one who treated me fairly in the media, so I bequeath my notes to you.
So then we fade out and go back in time to
A flashback.
Friday the 13th.
When it all began.
Professor George Kingsley is ending his course for the term. He's an English professor. Afterwards, he's walking down the street and gets hit by a car. Boom.
Boom.
The driver of the car, Red Cannon, had been shot by a bunch of gangsters led by Eric Manay, played by Bela Lugosi. Red Cannon and Kingsley are both taken to the hospital in the ambulance, but Dr. Sovac says Kingsley is going to die.
And he has a remedy for this.
Just so happens that he's a talented brain surgeon, and he decides to perform an emergency brain transplant.
Now, I guess it's not an entire brain transplant, just parts, the damaged parts.
Except he calls it a brain transplant.
But he just refers to it as a brain transplant. But if it was a complete brain transplant, it would be a complete, memory transfer.
And they do this in 1940. It's not like that science is that bad.
So it's a little science fiction-y. Yeah.
He uses the brain of Red Cannon to fix Kingsley. It comes out later that Cannon had $500,000 hidden somewhere, and Sovac decides to find it somehow.
Just think how that could fund my further research, he thinks to himself, out loud.
I think his research is doing pretty good as it is.
Yeah.
Sovac suggests to the recuperating Kingsley that they go on a fun road trip to New York, where Cannon used to live. Kingsley says he's been having these angry outbursts, which is very much unlike him. He's completely unaware that he has some of Cannon inside him.
So he's kind of manifesting Cannon a little bit, and the doctor takes him to Cannon's old haunts and really encourages and pushes and takes him to the same place and meeting the same people so that Red Cannon's traits will really come out, and they do.
He recognizes some of the people at the nightclub, even though he's never been to that city before. When Kingsley goes to sleep, Sovac calls out for Red Cannon, and Red answers. He's now got darker hair and looks a lot younger, but it's the same actor, which couldn't really tell right away. He looks very different.
He does, yeah. He did a really spectacular job, I thought, of playing the 2 different personas.
Red sneaks out and kills a man, Devore, one of those who shot at his car. The next night, he does the same to Kane, another of the 4 men. But this time, Sovac is watching from a few cars behind. So now he knows what's going on. Red goes to visit his old girlfriend. He looks different than he used to, but he still manages to convince her that he's Red.
Because he knows things that only the 2 of them knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next morning, he kills 2 detectives at Marnay's apartment. The girlfriend tells all to Marnay. She's on his side. Mrs. Kingsley shows up, and George is nowhere to be found. Sovac explains everything to his daughter Jean. Red's girlfriend then continues to keep Marnay informed about what's going on. Red finally goes after the stashed money, with Marnay and the goon Miller right behind him. Marnay runs off with the money, and Red kills Miller.
Complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red locks Marnay in a little refrigerator, and then he kills the girlfriend, leaving Marnay to die in the fridge.
Bela Lugosi.
A cold revenge.
Yes. Revenge is a dish best served cold. That's what
right.
they mean when you shut somebody in a refrigerator. Yeah.
He takes a taxi to the airport and then goes to sleep on the way. He wakes up as George Kingsley and then goes back to the hotel in Sovac. Both of them then go back to Newcastle, and Red's brain is dormant.
Or so they think.
George starts to hallucinate a bunch of dead gangsters, and then he becomes Red again, right in front of all his students. Red starts to kill Sovac's daughter, but Sovac shoots him in the back. Red turns back into George and dies. We then flash back to the present, where Sovac dies in the electric chair for shooting his best friend George in the back.
And now we know why he did that.
It's a really bad day at Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it all started badly.
You could almost
Ended
say it was
badly,
a
too.
Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The science in this one is particularly bad. Even in 1940, they knew that brain transplants wouldn't have this kind of effect. I definitely did like how George and Red's hair and face changed when he shifted between personalities. At first, I thought it was different actors.
See, that's some bad science too, though. Even if it was even if this, partial brain transplant and the guy's personality and memories were manifesting, it wouldn't make your hair darker. And then gray again, and then dark again, and then gray again.
Split personalities do some strange things, but they
don't change their hair
No.
color when they have a split personality.
Karloff does a good
No.
job as another tired old scientist, but Stanley Ridges is great as the dual personality mobster, and Bela Lugosi has the worst New York gangster accent I have ever heard, and is completely wasted here.
Yeah, it is.
Supposedly, Karloff was going to play George and Red, but he couldn't pull off the gangster side of things very well, so they shifted all the parts around, leaving Lugosi as Marnay, not a part that he was really good at. Red's girlfriend's apartment has a secret room full of alcohol. This is interesting, but Prohibition ended in 1933, which the movie was 1940. They
Well-
never really explained when it happened, so you could probably argue that, but why have a secret bar in your apartment for no particular reason?
I think the secret bar was a holdover for that, but it also had guns and other illegal things in
Yeah.
it, too. And he could stash money there. And I think it was just a holdover from a secret stash.
It was a
during
way to
Prohibition.
demonstrate that he knew the secrets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
He really is Red, not the
Yeah,
other
because he walked
person.
right over to the switch and opened the secret panel, and only Red and the gal knew that. So, yeah.
Well, we're about 20 weeks into our Universals now. Universal films. We're doing good with those.
I give this one a thumbs up overall. I mean, the science was bad, but I think because of Stanley Ridge's performance in it, really made it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. It was it's
It's
6 of
decent.
10.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not a great movie, but
Yeah.
very watchable and